people who don't believe evolution, like myself, this is a whole worldview issue. This isn't some trivial little thing about just a simple, observable, repeatable fact. Evolution is a massive, massive worldview thing.
Ignore and dismiss claims that you feel are ridiculous or extraordinary or outside your own worldview.
Like, for instance, what if you told me, hey, Mike, here's the shape of a crystal under a microscope, and I go, cool, I believe you. But then you tell me, Mike, here's the shape of a crystal under a microscope, and this means that whenever you get junk mail, you have to put it underneath your bed, or else your kids will grow horns. See, now when you start to extend into covering other areas of my life, and the bigger the claim, the more I'm going to want to look for support for it before accepting it.
Yes. Like, this doesn't seem like a normal rule of logic, right? It's just this muddy kind of thing.
I agree
and
with
this
that.
Now here's where, you would agree with me here. This seems to be where we would be in line, right, Doug?
Right.
This slogan, this phrase here, is literally the reason that many people have for rejecting the truth.
The bigger the claim, the more I'm going to want to look for support for it.
Do extraordinary claims really require extraordinary explanations? What if it turns out that this is not clear thinking, that it's not actually good thinking?
As I'm trying to evaluate the arguments, the stuff I've heard has been really insufficient.
Like Christopher Hitchens, in his debates with William Lane Craig, that's how he would use this phrase. He would just say, nope, not good enough. But I bring in the evidence, God, the resurrection, biblical inspiration, something like that. And the response sometimes is, hey, Mike, that's fine. Fine, you have evidence. I see your evidence there, but it's just not good enough.
I believe the genetic evidence for evolution is the most powerful one, but it's also the hardest one to understand. Like, you can talk about ice cores and all that sort of thing and fossils, but the genetic evidence is just amazing to me.
As I'm trying to evaluate the arguments, the stuff I've heard has been really insufficient.
It's just not good enough. And you start to wonder, well, what's good enough? Well, all I'm saying is your claims are extraordinary. Your evidence needs to be equally extraordinary. And that's when you start to recognize there's something fishy going on here. Because you bring good evidence, it should bring you to a simple, logical conclusion.
The genetic evidence is just amazing to me.
The bigger the claim, the more I'm going to want to look for support for it.
This claim is being used to throw away good evidence or throw away good reasoning or subvert your normal process of evaluating things to see if they're true and to get you to just throw them out. And so we can have this as our protection. Well, that's an extraordinary claim. I won't believe it unless I have extraordinary evidence. But when you actually examine it carefully, you find out this thing won't keep you from being gullible. This thing will keep you in denial.
See, now when you start to extend into covering other areas of my life, evolution is a massive, massive worldview thing.
It keeps us from following the evidence to conclusions we're not inclined to believe.